Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for clicking on my videos. I really do appreciate your time. Well, you might know that I was on vacation last week. We went to Comicon in Kansas City, and what an adventure. I cannot wait to share all of the tidbits with you. I've kind of got some bullet points of what happened each day so that I can share that with you. Now, this will not be, some people go to the zoo and take a picture of every single animal and then want to share those videos with you or those pictures with you. That is not going to be this kind of video. I do have some pictures to throw in here and there as I'm talking, but otherwise, if this is one of those videos where you can just sit down with your crochet or your project or whatever and work on it while I'm talking. So this was Comic-Con. It was over my birthday. I turned 56. Woohoo! I'm not afraid to say it. I think 56 is feeling pretty good, and so different than when I was a kid and we had people who were 56, right? Like I remember asking my mom how old she was, and she said she was 38. That's always just stuck in my mind, and I thought, oh my God, you're so old. So anyway, this was our first Comic-Con, and it's a bucket list for us. So to have this happen, it was just exciting, beyond exciting. The lead singer and the drummer for Iron Maiden were there, and we've listened to them since we were in high school, for like 40 years now. So that was kind of the purpose, or the main character that we were going to go see at the event, but still just to do a Comic-Con because we had never done one before, and it was phenomenal. It was beyond, and it was a really, really, really big one. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We went on Friday and Saturday. Saturday had 70,000 people. I think they said made $14 million for the city. It was incredible. And they said that it was just massive compared to other years. So it was great to be able to be a part of that and to go to our first Comic-Con. So anyway, so we camped. We took our fifth wheel and went to a lake and parked at the lake. And that's really all I wanted. I have simple requests in life. I just wanted a vacation to sit by the lake. I didn't want to be in the water. I don't necessarily need to fish. It would be fun, but just looking at the water, it's a simple thing, right? So I was in heaven all week. It was fantastic. But we get there, and it's about a 4-hour drive, and everything went pretty well up until like the last maybe hour or 45 minutes. We're having some cooling issues with the engine of the truck, and when we were having the trailer behind us, it wasn't happy. So long story short, we ended up leaving the trailer there and coming home and putting the truck straight into the shop. So okay, discombobulated. So we get to the lake and we get all settled in, and it's pre-season. They don't really open yet. So none of the amenities of the lake were available. And I don't want to bust on people too much, but the management was not there. They were not available to us. They take our money and then they're not around when we need them. So they actually have a trailer storage facility at the park that we were staying at, and just were not returning our phone calls to inquire about storing our trailer there. They didn't call us for 4 days. So we ended up just putting it someplace else in town. So anyway, okay. So we get to the lake. We kind of try to get ourselves all settled. There was an issue with winterizing the plumbing, and we had a water blowout. So we could hook up to their toilet facility. We could hook up to their electric facility, or, plug. We had electricity in the RV, but we didn't have any running water. So we just lived out of, gallon water jugs for the week, which was fine. But it just changed things up, because then you can't really wash dishes like you want to. And we had bought all these groceries to cook in the RV all week. So that was kind of a bust. At the end, when we were leaving and cleaning out the fridge, we gave it to a camper next to us, and they were very appreciative of that. So the big thing that we wanted to do that everybody talks about now, St. Louis has got great barbecue, great barbecue, but everybody talks about Kansas City barbecue. So we looked online for a bunch of reviews and found this place called Joe's Barbecue, and it originally started out in a gas station, and people talk about it like it's the best thing since sliced bread, and it was. We were so disappointed. It was such a bust. Their claim to fame or whatever is burnt ends, and mine weren't even like charred at all. It was all like brown, like gray brown and fatty. It wasn't like burnt ends like you want the end of your burnt ends to be. So we were really bummed about that. And they forgot my bread pudding. They had to come running out and catch us before we drove away, that they forgot my bread pudding. So I was kind of teed about that. But anyway, so then so that was on Wednesday. So then on Thursday, we wanted to do this conveyor belt sushi place. It was the first one of our, that we'd ever encountered. And so another bucket list item kind of thing for this trip. And so it was fun. There weren't as many variations of food that was coming out. Most of the rolls were kind of normal, and we were really looking for something kind of out of the ordinary. So didn't love the choices as much, but what we did eat was delicious, and it was very exciting to be part of that conveyor belt situation. And there was a lady there. I'm jumping ahead a little bit because this is dinner, so I'll go back and tell the rest of the day. But there was a woman that was sitting, we sat on the corner, and she was like the mother of an older woman, older than us, with her adult like son and girlfriend or something like that. And she pulled out this giant bib that had like pearls strung across her bib. It was just the funniest thing. Like, you're just eating sushi and she's got this giant bib across her that's all these necklaces. So that was kind of funny. What else did we do? Oh, so we started the day with, we still do our taxes through California, where we came from California, so we still use our tax guy from 25 years ago or whatever. And so we ship all our stuff out to him, and then he calls us and we talk about it, and he tells us the good news or the bad news. So that was really exciting to be sitting by the lake and talking to our tax guy, like making a phone appointment by the lake. Bib lady. So we were walking around with the dogs, and nobody was there. It was like I said, it was pre-season, but there were maybe 5 other RVs that were kind of all scattered this way, and we went to a walk this way. And I'll put in the pictures here. You can see as we're walking, there's this wall. And so there's my husband standing at the wall, so you can see how high it is. But out of nowhere, and we had let the dogs off the leash. If you've ever known an Australian Shepherd, they need to run. And keeping Max on a leash is not cohesive. So we do have to let him off the leash and let him bzz, do his zoomies all around. And he listens very, very well. So he'll come back immediately as soon as you call him. However, so John and I are walking up to this little wall to look over at the end of our walk sort of way or whatever. It was 2 RV sites right there. And out from behind me, out of nowhere, comes Max, beelines it, and jumps right over this wall, not knowing what's on the other side. What just happened? And we just looked at each other, and we look over the edge, and he did land in it was about a 12-foot drop, and he landed in about 4 foot of water. And if he had been, it was where the lake ends, like it comes up to the shore, like, if the water was filled, there'd be more water there, but as the water drains or goes low, that's the empty area. And so if he had gone like, this much more over, like 2 feet over, he would have landed on ground. So we were just, what just happened? It was crazy. So now he's running around and he's wet like creek, and he stunk up the RV from that. So could not believe that happened. Crazy dog. So after Max gets out of the water and comes out, comes back around to where we were, got him all dried up or whatever, get back to the RV, and we were going to go head out for lunch. We had a yarn shop for me to go visit, and we were going to grab some lunch on the way out. And when we go on vacation, it's important for us, or we like to try different foods that we don't have at home. So they have a Zaxby's. It's fried chicken place, whatever. And we don't have a Zaxby's near home. So we went ahead and had some chicken strips for lunch. Yummy, nothing out of the ordinary, So we get to the yarn shop, and it is bougie. Like I've not been in a store that had yarn like this before. Now the store itself was very regular, very normal, very people friendly. Like, it seemed normal, but the product that they carried was all way above my level. We all know Superwash Merino. superwash merino wool, and they had wool that was other stuff, like other kinds of sheep stuff I hadn't heard of before. Um, and then, you know, blends of cashmere or silk with these things. But again, it was just, I had a difficult time finding something that I wanted to buy. In addition, they were having like a knitters group, and they had a food spread, and I felt like I was in the middle of their party while I'm trying to shop for yarn. It was weird. I know I'm weird, but I didn't know what to do, and I felt obligated to buy something when you walk into a store, even though I didn't know what to buy. And my husband's sitting there, and we always, you know, we always say, "Oh, I'll be quick, honey," and we do try to be quick, but then he's still just sitting there all that time. So I did buy some yarn. I'm not happy about it. When I got up to the cash register, I was very awkward in the store. So when I finally found a yarn visually that I liked, I just grabbed them, and I didn't see a price at all. And so I'm standing up at the register, and she says how much my total is, and my husband out loud gasped. And I'm like, don't embarrass me. Like, I know what I'm doing. And I hand her my credit card. I'm like, ah. So I think I'm immediately going to put these up on eBay. Like, I can't. It's crazy. So the store is called Unwind, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody ever from going there. I'm not trying to give it a bad review at all. I just tell you my personal experience in the shop. So what I picked up was, this is the first one that I saw. If you're familiar with this yarn at all, you know that it is expensive. It is 400 yards of non-superwash merino. This, I don't know if I can say the name, La Bien Ami. And so because it's like Amy, I always think that, oh, there's a connection to my name. And this one is called Midwestern Sunset. So I like that. And they call it a twist nouveau is what they're calling it. It's a fingering weight. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The sun's kind of killing us here, but you can see kind of purplies and some like orange corals and the yellow up in here. It's really very, very nice looking yarn. Look how pretty that is. I don't know if I can get it in there or not. See right there? Look how pretty. I love that. This was $39. I am choking. Okay. I might have to close that a little bit. But I didn't want to just buy one. I wanted to go ahead and buy a couple if I was going to make a thing out of it. And again, not realizing that they were $39 each. So then I also picked up this one. It's kind of that pale orangey coral that's in here, and it's called Peach Sweater. So you can see it kind of goes with that nicely. And then this one is a little bit darker, and it is called Dawn. So let me go ahead and pull this. Okay. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't want to complain about the yarn at all, just that I wasn't paying too close attention to the price, and these were $39 a piece. I'm choking on that. I can't even. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep that or end up just putting it on eBay because it's a little bit too much for me. Beautiful yarn anyway, though, and I hope to be at the level someday where I recognize the value in these other types of yarns that I'm just not familiar with, but that's not today. So then Friday was the first day of the Comicon for us. Now, the drummer was going to be there from Iron Maiden, Nico, on Friday. Now, Bruce Dickinson, who was the singer, was not going to be there until Saturday. So Friday we were going for the first day to see what was what. My husband's got some walking issues, but he really does not like to take his wheelchair anywhere. And so we just took it slow, and he did amazing. We had a great day. If you've never been to a Comicon and you are slightly at all interested, I would say go. You've got to experience it. It was so much fun. It was like the biggest Halloween party, costume party. Like, there's stuff you know, there's stuff you don't quite know. There's a lot of the same things, so you get to see different people's take on what that costume should look like or whatever. So, okay, so what happened on Friday? So we had breakfast in the cold rain. Oh. So we had breakfast in. We were keeping notes on whether we were going to try to cook in the RV or go out for breakfast. We had breakfast in. It was cold and rainy. And first thing in the morning, my son had my granddaughter call me and wish me a happy birthday. So that was fantastic. I wasn't expecting it. And it was so neat to hear their voices. And even my little boy, Michael, who doesn't, he's not talking, he just grunts a lot. And my son said, "Tell Grandma happy birthday." You know, so I even got a little something out of him. And so then we went to Subway on the way. It was Lent, so I had a veggie sandwich, which just felt like an empty sandwich. So then we get to Comicon, and it was just amazing. I can't put into words, like when there's an event that's, you have no idea what to expect, and then you go and you're just so excited. I was just like jumping inside my skin. I was jumping up and down, everything. I was overly excited. So we do finally get into the main hall where we can see all the tables and all the people, and all of the tables I expect to see are going to be about comic books or trading cards, or like a lot of people had art. There's a lot of art people, a lot of drawing people in this kind of event because they're cartoonists and artists and so forth. And so you can imagine my surprise when I saw my first crochet table. I blew my mind. So I started to take some pictures of the crochet when I saw it, and then there was just too many, so I didn't get a picture of everybody's. But as you can see here, this woman had some yarn. So here is her little business card. It's called Yarn Dorks. And she's got an Instagram up here, Yarn Dorks. And then this was her little business card. I asked her for a bag, so she gave me one that's got this little drawstring. And so I was able to tie that to my wrist and walk around with that. Very lovely bag. And so if you know me at all, you know that I very much appreciate when a yarn is dyed specifically for an event. And she had 3 different ones that she dyed, but the one that the colors spoke to me the most was this group. This is called Frodo and Bilbo's Door. So I really like the colors that were in this one much more than the colors that were in the other. You know, sometimes colors just speak to you. So this is 75 superwash merino and 25% nylon. And this one happens to be, like, she uses this label and then she forgot to circle whether it was sock or DK or worsted, but it is the sock weight. So there's 462 yards in the big one. And then I think she said another 92 or 95 or something yards of the little green one. So Yarn Dorks, I really liked the fact that she had yarn at this event. So I hope that she did well and sold a lot of yarn. They've got all the comic book stuff and trading cards and merchandise you can buy, and vendors and everything was all this way. And then they had Celebrity Row. So what you have is your line of celebrities at a table, at vendor tables, whatever. And then there was a line of like 10 people. And then there was a break in the walkway. And then was the section where you're like queued up for that person. And there's tape on the floor everywhere throughout the building, or throughout the Celebrity Row area. And they made you stay within the taped lines. So you're like super chummy. You had to squeeze in your body and be close to all these people. And so it was less than half an hour between the time that, you know, we got there and got over to that area and actually started waiting in line for them. So that was great. It was less than half an hour. So it's our turn to step up, and you can choose to do an autograph picture. They've got like 4 or 5 different photos there that you can get one and have them autograph it and pay for that. Or you could do a selfie where you give them your phone, and like his rep, you know, you stand by him and the rep takes your picture with your phone. And then there was also a photo op where you would pay a lot of money and go stand in this line and then go in for a professional photo that's being taken. So for Nico, we decided we wanted the selfie. So we step up, and the rep has already taken care of the money and stuff in the line. So now we're just ready to see Nico. And so he shakes our hands and says hello. And when he shook my hand, I said, "And it's my birthday." And he says, "Happy birthday," right in my face. Like Nico said, "Happy birthday" to me. And he says, grab a photo, because we'd only paid to do a selfie. So he let me pick a photo. And so this was my autograph photo that I got for my birthday from Nico McBrain to Amy. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Okay, so that was our event. We did as much as we could that day, and we had decided that we would bring his wheelchair back for Saturday because it was too much. And it was going to be a lot busier on Saturday. A lot of the celebrities weren't there for Friday. They were only going to be there for Saturday. So Saturday was going to be a much bigger day. And little did we know. So we went home all zinging. We were so excited from the day, but tired. And it was Friday afternoon, Friday evening, whatever. We got back to the RV park and it was packed with RVs. So now the park is filled. We can't really run max like we were before. So we wake up Saturday morning ready to go for our big day, right? We went out to breakfast in the morning in a cute little diner. That was fun. Later, came back home, messed with the dogs and stuff. Later on the way out, we went for lunch at Zaxby's again, just because it was easy to grab the chicken strips on the way out. So we get to Comicon and it is packed. You could see the day before, on Friday when we went, there was no outside line for us. But on Saturday, they're in the streets. They had like when you go to a roller coaster and they've got your line that just zigzags back and forth and back and forth. So, but it wasn't really like we were standing in line, like standing. It was constantly moving. So my husband called it a funnel. It was really just more of a funnel to get us in the building. But there was a bajillion people. And if we had brought his wheelchair, he would have been like at navel height to everybody. He wouldn't have been able to see anything. We would have been, excuse me, pardon me, through the whole event. So we had decided not to bring it, and we were so glad we did. We just took it easy, and he did okay. So the way the photo op goes is that at the end of all of the celebrity row, there's like they had like a screen up that was like departures at the airport. So you could see when your photo op was going to come up next, when it was open, because of the way they had all the tape on the floor and had everybody lining up and everything. So there's a waiting area that you're supposed to go and wait there before your line opens up so that you're ready to go. It's kind of like the airport. Be prepared ahead of time. So we go walking to that area, and these people stopped us and spoke to the shirt that I was wearing, and there was a lot of that. We're all rockers from back in the day, and stood in lines like this for concert tickets when they were still only $20, and now they're stupid. Anyway, so this woman and her husband talked to my husband like the entire time. He's super social. He'll talk to anybody, anytime, about anything. And they really just chit-chatted with us through this entire experience. So we get into the line, and they the celebrity is behind a curtain, and you basically, you're the next to go up to the picture. That you walk up, you smile, and you're excused. They tell you next, and then the next people get up. So it went like this, and I'm really embarrassed because I cheesed it up too much. I overly smiled, and I'm not happy about it. I got too many chins and yellow teeth, and I'm not happy. But this was the event of a lifetime or whatever, so here you go. Bruce Dickinson. Woo-hoo! So, okay. So that was the pinnacle. That was supposed to be the whole reason that we were there, and be done with it, right? So as we leave our curtain area, they had us walk around the other curtains and then go up along the side where the picture printing machines are, and they're just kicking out photos, and you're looking around, oh, that's that guy, oh, that's that guy. And they were all of the mixed up celebrities that were all doing their photo ops right at that time. Well, as we're standing behind somebody else's curtain, the curtain draws open, and Lou Diamond Phillips walks right into me. Oh my God, hello. And then I touched his shoulder like it was gold. So if you don't know Lou Diamond Phillips from the movie La Bamba, and then he was in Young Guns and other stuff that, he's a phenomenal actor, and I just know him from back in the day. That was kind of my thing with some of these actors. I was super excited to see them, but I didn't watch like recent stuff. Like I might have known something, like Kiefer Sutherland was there. I put eyes on Kiefer Sutherland. I didn't talk to him, but I saw him. And a lot of people are like, who's Kiefer Sutherland? If you know, you know. If you don't, I can't help you. So it was really fun. John Rhys Davies was there. He's known for Indiana Jones, and he was Gimli in Lord of the Rings, but to me, he's Da Vinci from Voyager. Jeffrey Combs was there. He's been in all of the Star Trek shows. He's been, I think, 7 or 8 or 9 different characters. Shran is my favorite. Wayun is my husband's favorite. He was there. He's the only regret that I have is Jeffrey Combs. Because we were going to do a bunch the next day with my husband in the wheelchair and make it a little bit easier for him, I decided to not focus on Jeffrey Combs on Friday, and then we didn't do anybody except Bruce on Saturday, and I was really bummed out by that. I really, 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 really would have liked to talk to Jeffrey Combs, do the selfie, say hello, shake his hand. I watch Star Trek all the time. It is my go-to in the background while I am crocheting, while we, wind down to go to sleep, like all the time. And so it would have just really been the cherry for me on top if I had met Jeffrey Combs. But anyway, okay, so we started with Lone Jack, then we went to Zaxby's for lunch. We had a Hawaiian. They have a Hawaiian place out there. I don't remember the name of it. It was a Hawaiian fast food type place, and we had 2 different types of chicken and this soft serve. It was like a melted missile pop, if you remember the Ice Cream Man back in the days. So it was a good event. That was, a good meal. That was yummy. Crochet by fire. Oh, there was a lady, as we were pulling back into the RV camp, there was a lady sitting in front of a campfire crocheting. And I thought, your stuff's going to smell like smoky campfire. Why would you do that? Do any of you crochet by the fire? That is not a practice that I have taken on. So the other thing that little bits and notes and pieces here, the smoke alarm in our RV was continuing to go off. My husband's cooking bacon, and I had to stand there with a thing and, get the air going over the smoke detector so it would stop going off. He ended up pulling the battery out until he was done cooking. And then kid in line. Oh, there was a kid. There were different lines for food, and there was one for a pineapple truck, like a Dole pineapple truck that they made whips and stuff out of. I'm not sure what it was, but it had a long line. And then there was a Chick-fil-A line, and the lines got mixed up. And so I asked at the end of the line who they were in line for, and the front of the line thought they were in line for something else. So it was kind of awkward. But there was the kid in line behind us had said he was 18. He'd been coming here for 8 years and sells his Pokemon cards there. And last year he made $3,500 selling Pokemon cards to other people walking around at the event. So he was super excited to talk to us, and then it was our turn and we had to walk away. It was awkward. Okay, so then Sunday was just a relaxing day. We had done so much walking Friday and Saturday. We just needed to chill. On Sunday, we just sat around the RV, looked at the water, walked around with the dogs a little bit because the place had completely emptied out. There was lots and lots of room now for us to run the dogs again. And just enjoy the day, just quiet, just relaxing. It was really nice. We had breakfast in. We ate leftovers from the previous evenings, from the previous days. Our dinner, we went to a place called Black Bear Diner, and it was phenomenal. I had a chicken pot pie that was just delicious, and hubby had a tri-tip meal. A lot of people don't know what tri-tip is. It's a cut of meat that we know it's super popular in California. I don't know how much it's making its way across the rest of the country at this point, but to find it in a restaurant was very, very exciting. So that was a good meal. And then just drove home, and it was a very, very nice, uneventful drive home. Until we realized that my pillows were not with me. So when we were clearing out the RV, when you travel with an RV, you use the RV as storage. And so now that we were leaving the RV here or there and coming home without it, we had to put everything that we needed in the truck, and the dogs were in the back seat. So everything had to go in the bed of the truck. So whether my pillows are still in the RV or whether they got lost along the way somewhere, I had to figure out new pillows. Monday night when I got home, I was not a happy camper about that. And then back to work, back to, real life on Tuesday with kids, and grandkids came over and I had to work and in our normal life again. So I did take some pictures along the way of the people at the event. Not nearly as many as I wanted to. I'm very shy with taking photos. Thank you so much for all of your support. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderfully
That's awesome, man. Did you build that? Yeah. Amazing.
I agree 100%.
That's awesome.
That is absolutely awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.